Welcome to our webinar for today, Thursday, March 28th. It's opening day, too, for you baseball fans out there. Thanks for making time out of your busy schedules to be with us. Today's topic is bridging the gaps for first generation and underserved students. We are broadcasting this webinar live on the Platform Q Conduit platform and simulcasting on Platform Q's social channels as well. So hi to anyone out there watching us on Facebook, YouTube, etc. Happy to be joined today by college partners of Strive for College and clients of Platform Q Education as well. Maybe some of you out there are both, like Christopher Newport University, who you're going to hear from some today. Our content will, I think, provide a reminder and a refresher for some of you who are already familiar with our respective programs. But hopefully you also are able to take away something new from our presentations today and learn about both of our tools and services for colleges if you're not already familiar with either organization and our offerings. Let's start with some introductions. My name is Matt Rubinoff. I am the Chief Strategy Officer at Strive for College. I oversee Strive's partnerships with colleges and universities and some awesome organizations that we partner with as well, like Platform Q Education, in a joint effort and a shared mission to help deserving students on the path to college. I'll let my esteemed colleagues who are with us today introduce themselves as well. Lynn?
Hi, everyone. My name is Lynn McMullen. I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Admission here at Christopher Newport University. We are a public school located in Newport News, Virginia, which is over near Virginia Beach, Norfolk area. I've been at CNU now for about 5 years. I oversee the marketing and the communications, so all the things that have to do with Platform Q I oversee, and then I also still do some recruiting as well. So I'm out on the road and also getting to interact with the students. So I kind of get the best of both worlds, and it's helpful for me to be able to see what's going on out in the field while I'm working on the marketing and the communications and new ideas with that. So we've been a partner with Platform Q, with College Week Live for the entire time that I've been at CNU, and in recent years we've really been increasing what we have been doing with them, and I'm be excited to share some of those things here in just a little bit. So thank you all for joining.
Awesome. Thanks, Lynn. And my name is Gill Rodgers. I'm the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Strategy here at Platform Q Education. We are excited to be here to share stories with Lynn and the Christopher Newport team, as well as our support with our partnership with Strive for College. You know, we're in an interesting place in the industry right now where there's a lot of change and a lot of opportunity to really focus our support and service of students. And if you've been on one of our webcasts before, you know that what we try to do is we try to select topics that are common amongst many institutions. And I think when we think about the challenges facing higher education, we know that in many markets there are demographic shifts that are impacting priorities of enrollment. There are always mandates to do new approaches, yet you're never given the additional budget potentially to invest in a lot of those new opportunities. A lot of times those needs to use new approaches are because of things like increased competition, how you focus your efforts and priorities. And a lot of this all comes with the continued changes in things like social media and ways that students access content and access information. So when we think about higher education in general, and we'll talk about access populations and striver populations in a little bit, we really kind of take it back a little bit and start at that top level of when we think about recruitment and marketing and support of students in general. And in the past, it was a pretty straightforward process. In addition to maybe some travel, you would go out and get your lists from data providers, and the results were somewhat predictive. You would be able to know if I needed X number of students at the bottom and my historical conversion rates were A, B, and C, I could fill in the blanks and know how many names I had to buy and maybe, what our conversion rates need to be from there. And of course, a lot of this, this is one way traditionally in the past where if you wanted to support access populations like for underserved students and those sorts of things, you could use that data to identify some of those students in the pool. But what has happened over time is the way that search has evolved and the way that students and schools connect has changed. And this is not limited to striver populations, but it's a global type of a situation where the ways that students and schools connect has exploded, right? There's college help sites and review sites. There's digital media. You can use geofencing and targeted media to reach students in specific locations, which again can help from reaching students in specific areas and regional locations. But what we've seen over the past 15 or so years is that the number of applications an institution needs to generate for one single enrollment has doubled. So essentially admissions staffs, and I know Lynn, you've probably felt this over some time, have been putting in double the amount of work for the same net result. And that's something that's just not sustainable. So, I mean, the story here, I guess, is that enrollment marketing and recruitment is not getting easier, right? And then on top of that, we layer issues that have been recently in the news of the Varsity Blues admissions scandal and issues around equity and access and those sorts of things. And so Matt, I know you had some thoughts on those recent events and really where our focus should be. So I'll defer to you and your expertise in this field to kind of give kind of a lay of the land of your perspectives and where priorities really should be.
Yeah, thanks, Gill, for setting the table there. And our goal for the rest of our hour together is to, I think, share a little bit more about how Strive for College and Platform Q, the Conduit platform, are pieces of that puzzle that colleges are and can be taken advantage of to engage students and better support that funnel and your enrollment strategies. Yeah, this slide with the Varsity Blues headlines that are dominating our news cycle the past few weeks is not to stir up any PTSD for anyone out there, but I think my feelings have been, and I'm sure it's shared by many of you guys who do this work every day, that the media, the general public, are obviously going to latch on to a scandal like this, but it's being made a way bigger deal of than it really deserves. And our goal today is to turn our attention back to the students that really deserve it, and the students who I think we all really care about supporting the most in this process. And those are the access populations. Undergraduate enrollment, if you're not aware, is steadily declining across the post-secondary sector. This data comes from the National Student Clearinghouse. For four-year colleges, albeit we've seen numbers remain fairly flat. And even this past fall, you might note that that 2.4% increase for four-year private nonprofit institutions, which stands out. And if you drill a little bit deeper into those numbers, you'll see that that the majority of that growth is among access populations who are increasing in post-secondary enrollment, and the data projects that is a trend that we'll continue to see well into the future. So it behooves us to make sure that our enrollment strategies are prioritizing these students, and for many, I think they are already. But Strive and Platform Q provide some unique programs and opportunities to further enhance those strategies for a lot of colleges. We're borrowing this chart from EduVentures because I think it paints a nice picture of who we are talking about when we talk about access populations. We tend to maybe lump these various demographics into one, but they are, overlapping only in maybe 13% of our undergraduate student population that identifies as low-income, first-gen, and underrepresented minority, but taken distinctly, anywhere between 35 and to 41% of students can identify as one of those buckets, low-income, first-gen, or underrepresented minority. So it's important to think of these populations in similar ways, and our strategies to identify and recruit these students may look similar, but at the same time, it's not necessarily fair to think of these students all encompassing, if you will. And while we've made the point that the access population makes up maybe a third of our total undergraduate population, and it's growing, my organization, Strive for College, exists because we continue to see that too many qualified students miss out on college simply due to a lack of access to good college guidance and information. These are statistics you've probably heard over and over again, but every year, roughly 500,000 students who are academically qualified, but from lower income families who really should go to college fail to do so. And I think a big part of the reason why is because the college counseling in today's public high schools that are serving predominantly low income and minority students is not doing the trick. Student counselor ratios way larger than we'd like them to be, and when you drill a little bit closer, looking into the high schools and the counseling that is happening, we find that the counselors are spending the majority of their time either lifting up those high achieving students who are going to be going to college anyway, or really just trying to keep afloat those lowest achieving students and dealing with remedial issues, disciplinary issues. And what that leaves is the wide middle of students, the majority who will graduate high school without much extra support, but pursuing college is another thing, and is a task that is going to be harder for them to tackle alone, maybe without the support of parents who went through the process themselves at home. They're looking for more personalized attention in the college admissions process than their counselor at high school is able to give them. They're not finding a mentor or a community-based organization in the community they live. And so that's where Strive for College really comes in. Strive started in 2007 at Washington University in St. Louis. It began then as a more traditional in-person mentoring program, really a student group that wanted to volunteer and help local high school students with the college admissions process. Over time, and as Michael, our founder and CEO, graduated from WashU, it really became a national college access organization with chapters on 20 different campuses, again, perpetuating this in-person mentoring program and finding great success and results from it. But in 2012, a grant from the Albertson Foundation helped Strive pilot virtual mentoring in Idaho, and Strive was able to build a proprietary technology platform called UStrive with the vision to scale virtual mentoring to students across the country. In 2016, Strive closed a few key partnerships that have really propelled this work forward. Strive merged with the I'm First project, and very kind of overnight integrated I'm First network of close to 200 college and university partners into this program. And we also partnered with the Common application in an effort to direct students who are looking for help and assistance with their applications to our organization and our program for that help. So we are now an integrated question in the Common app. Students who are completing their profile information within the Common app after they register receive a prompt about Strive for College, and it asks them, are you looking for help from a mentor with your applications? Yes or no. And each of the past 3 application cycles, we've had upwards of 200,000 students saying yes to that question. So the need is there. The need is wide, and we're serving tens of thousands of students every year through the UStrive platform, connecting them to the help they need with the college admissions process, and we're proud of that. This all boils down to Strive's mission to ensure that every qualified student who wants to attend college has the opportunity to do so. And while earlier we referred to this population as access populations, we like to call these students strivers. To us, strivers refers not only to students who are active in our program and working with a mentor already, but more broadly, strivers refers to this population of students who are motivated and qualified for college, but aren't finding the help that they need at home or in school or in their community to get there. And so while Strive is building this national movement to support better outcomes for strivers, and as I mentioned, we're serving about 10,000 students a year on the platform who are actively matched and working with a mentor to assist them with the college process. We also partner with colleges and their staffs to help institutions better recruit and retain strivers through effective professional development, collaborative learning, and various marketing opportunities. This slide is just a snapshot of the various benefits and services or our core programs that comprise Strive for College and what we do with and for college partners. As far as being a learning community, we do regular best practices webinars throughout the year on different recruitment and retention related topics. We have a listserv that is facilitating further sharing and discussion among our college partners around these themes and topics. On our UStrive platform, our college partners are now integrated to the point where they are able to manage an enhanced profile in the college search tool, highlighting important campus programs, support services, financial aid opportunities for striver population students. And students on the platform utilizing the college search tool are able to demonstrate their interest in colleges and share and their information is then shared with college partners through their portal. We also publish the I'm First Guide to College. It remains the only college guidebook on the market designed uniquely for first-generation college-bound students. And in addition to a comprehensive college planning curriculum, the guidebook features profiles of our college and university partners that get beyond the general admissions information and facts and figures that you would find in a typical college guidebook. And we really bring to the surface what's in it for me as a low-income or first-gen student? What are the important campus programs and support services and scholarship and financial aid opportunities that I should be aware of as a first-gen student if I'm going to consider your college? So that's been a great resource to a lot of students, and we distribute that nationally to high schools and college access programs. We also operate a companion website, imfirst.org, which is a first-gen stories campaign and student blog. So our college partners have an opportunity to contribute first-gen video testimonials to the library of stories and help support our mission to encourage and motivate aspiring first-generation college students, and can nominate a current first-gen student from their campus to contribute to the blog and chronicle their college experiences on the I'm First website as well. There's more to it, additional marketing opportunities and technical assistance services, a recognition program. But what we really wanted to focus in on today is our partnership with Platform Q, and 3 more ways that college partners with Strive can reach strivers and engage students online through our use of the Conduit platform. So this is a new partnership that started just this past fall, but it's off and running. In the fall, those of you who participated already know, but we did a series of live Striver Q&A chats on the Conduit platform, utilizing the Campus Connect chat application for group chats. So bi-weekly through the fall, we joined a group of our college partners, maybe 5 to 10 every chat session, and marketed these live chats to hundreds of thousands of college-bound students. And our college partners were available to answer questions, but also to share information about their campuses, give I guess short info sessions online to a national audience of students. And the great thing about the Conduit platform is that it allows us to track who's visiting the page and participating in these chats. And then that data, those students, are shared with the participating colleges after the event. So we're going to be doing these for our college partners again this spring. Look out for an email with a sign-up link that I'm going to be sending out either tomorrow or the beginning of next week for our community to sign up and participate in our Striver Q&A live chats scheduled for this spring, and hope you'll take advantage. The other opportunity that's available to Strive partners through Conduit is the opportunity to do a sponsored webcast. This is a chance to host a private webcast through Strive and to turn the spotlight on your institution alone. We're able to build out a Conduit page for your school that can incorporate videos and links and information about your campus. And then we'll schedule a time to go live with you like we're doing right now. It's a very similar experience to what you're having right now through this webinar, but it's just about your institution, and we're able to market it to our database of college-bound students. You're able to supplement it with your own prospects, and like we're doing today, these webcasts can be simulcast to your Facebook, Twitter, YouTube channels to further increase visibility among your audience and our audience. Similar to the live chats, we provide reporting out to help you follow up with those students who participated and have demonstrated interest as a prospective student for your college. And for our college partners, we are offering these private webcasts for a highly discounted rate. It's $800. If you think about the cost, the expense that you put into attending a college fair, the travel, the accommodations, the time, you can reach a national audience of strivers for the same, maybe even less, by doing a sponsored webcast with Strive through the Conduit platform. And then thirdly, colleges who are partnering with Strive but are not yet members of Platform Q can consider joining Conduit as a member college and taking advantage of the full suite of technology services that they offer. And all Strive partners are given a free dedicated webcast to focus on Striver populations on top of their standard allotment of webcasts. So there's a little carrot for you as well. But rather than kind of just doing more of a dog and pony show on the Conduit platform, we are really grateful to have a college that is utilizing Conduit to its fullest extent, Christopher Newport University. They've also recently joined the Strive platform or the Strive program and are planning various ways to take their and our programs to the next level, if you will. So with that, I will turn it over to Lynn, and the floor is yours, Lynn.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit about ways that CNU has been using the Conduit platform. Like I said, I've been with CNU for about 4 or 5 years now, and we've been partnering with College Week Live, now Platform Q, for quite a while. And we've seen the changes, and we've seen all the great improvements, and we're really excited about the work that we're doing in regards to connecting with students in various types of ways we wouldn't be able to just utilizing the traditional face-to-face contact. So this is an example of what our platform looks like. You can see we've got specific events geared toward freshman students. Right now, we're really working with our admitted students throughout the cycle. This changes a little bit. In the beginning, it's more recruitment oriented, then it moves over to the admitted students to try to get them to really work on making that final decision. And then even once they have decided they want to attend CNU, we can still reach out to them. We work with our attending students, also offering opportunities for them to chat with us, or we do webcasts as well. So some of the things that we've been doing for the past couple of years, strategy calls. So we do strategy calls typically about 3 to 4 times each year. We do go ahead and talk with our account rep. We go through ideas, what other people are doing, how we can improve things. And what we found works best for us is that at the beginning of each semester, we go ahead and lay out a calendar. So we talk through some ideas, what we want to do, and then we go ahead and put together a calendar for that entire semester. So that way we have it on our calendars, our staff members here, and it also gives us the chance to go ahead and get prime times with Platform Q on the Conduit platform also. So we typically try to do, I would say, at least 4 to 5 webcasts each semester. And then additionally, we have chats as well. So there's 2 of us in our office who are working primarily with it, myself on the domestic side, and then one of my colleagues works on the international side. So she focuses on that part. They try to do 1 or 2 webcasts each semester. And then she also has some weekly chats set up also. With the QTokens, that's something that we've really just started utilizing this year, something that I will be honest, I was not super excited about when we first started doing it because it was a little confusing, and I figured it was probably going to be a lot of extra work on our side of things when we're trying to communicate to people. So what the QToken is it's really just a direct login. So each person that you are sending a communication to gets their own personal logins. They don't have to worry about typing in their email address. They don't have to worry about logging into the system. They are automatically taken to the webcast or the chat, which has proved very beneficial to us. And it's definitely increased our numbers for students who are receiving the email or the text message and then going ahead and going into the webcast or the chat. Like I said, I was pretty worried about time, how it was going to take, how much longer it was going to take to get those communications out. And honestly, at this point, it really isn't bad at all. It's a couple extra steps, but once you do it once or twice, it's really very easy. And I think that the benefit is far outweighs the work that's required. So definitely worthwhile. And I'm definitely glad that we have started doing that. We still don't use it for our really large invite list. When we're inviting everyone who's in our system, 100,000 students, we do not use the QTokens for those events simply because it's such a large group. But for anything else, we are going ahead and providing those personalized QTokens so they can go ahead and log in. With the video, we are doing, like I said, probably about 4 to 5 webcasts each semester, and those can range from events. We've had webcasts that just are general introductions to CNU, basically the admission presentation that students would receive if they come to visit campus. We've done that. We have done some specific events for admitted students, talking through those next steps, what they need to be doing to complete their enrollment. We're going to do one, we're going to try a new one this summer before our summer orientation program, where we're going to have the director of orientation do a webcast and just talk through kind of what students can expect when they come for orientation. It's just another way for students to get questions answered. It's a lot of information that they might not always read. As many of us know, they're not the best at reading sometimes, the emails that we're sending them, the publications that we're sending them. This is just another way for us to reach them. With the Campus Connect, those are going to be the live chats that we do. Anytime that we have a webcast, we also do have a live chat going on at the same time. And that's just because while the presenters are presenting in the webcast, if students have a question that they want to go ahead and get answered right then, they can go ahead and type that into the admission officers and they can answer that as well. So it's proved to be very beneficial for those, just because, like I said, it gives them another chance to get some questions answered. One thing I did forget to mention about the video is that we reuse some of our webcasts. So with the CMU Live, when you add the chat, you can make sure that people are getting their questions answered and it seems like it's a live event. And so that way we're not constantly brainstorming on new ideas that we need to provide webcasts for. We can reach different audiences at different parts of the cycle. For example, we did a scholarship webcast back in the fall, right before our scholarship deadlines started coming up. And then we rebroadcast that in January, February for all those students who had then been admitted to the programs, and that way they could learn more about them once again. With the dashboard reporting, that is something that we are doing basically to reach out to those students after we see that they participate. If they join us for a webcast, they join us for a chat, we want to go ahead and reach out to them and let them know that we appreciate that and give them contact information if they have any additional questions. So it's very easy to go in there, you download your report, you get all the information that you need, and then you can communicate with those students. Like I said, just to tell them thank you and make sure that they have a way to get back in touch with us if they need anything. With the webcast, we are reaching a variety of audiences too. For example, last night we did a webcast for our admitted students. We went ahead and invited parents as well, because we know a lot of times the parents are the ones that do have a lot of the questions. And so I talked to one of our representatives who was on the chat last night, and he was telling me that they were absolutely swamped and that they did have a ton of questions from parents. So it's a great way to also utilize those resources as well. Sometimes, once again, with the emails for the parents, they might not always be reading those either, but they're going to really pay attention when they know that they have the opportunity to actually chat with someone, and it just gives them another venue, another time that works for their time as well. So we found that very beneficial also. So some of the event outcomes that we've had this year, you can see on the next slide. You can see we've had 50, 60. Last night for our admitted student webcast, we had over 150 people join us and watch part of that webcast. So for some of those, those smaller ones like studying STEM at a liberal arts university, that might not seem like a huge number. It's just 20, but that's 20 students who might have had specific questions about that program. And it's a way for them to get those questions answered and hear from someone besides the admission officer. For that particular one, we had some faculty join us. And so they're able to talk in much more depth about the actual programs and can go into more detail and really provide more information for the students than them just talking to the admission officer. So some of our additional events this year are going to be, like I said, those admitted student chats. We're going to have the orientation chat and then also some information about advising as well. One thing that we found really beneficial that we've been doing the past 2 years now is incomplete application chats. And so that is really helpful for students who we are missing part of their application. We're obviously sending them emails to let them know this, but once again, they don't always read their emails. And so this gave them a chance to literally take 1 minute. We provided the Q token. They could click on the Q token. They'd be taken to the chat room. They could ask the admission officer what they were missing. We would tell them what they were missing, and they'd be able to know what they needed to get done. And we saw a really great conversion rate for students who participated in that and who took the time to go ahead and chat with us and figure out what they were missing. So we did probably about 3 or 4 of them last year, and I think we might even add a couple more next year. So some of the things that we are planning to do with Strive, this is a very recent addition to us. One of the reasons that we wanted to participate in this partnership is because we were, struggling to find some new ways to focus on our underserved students and how to get in touch with them, how to communicate with them. So we're really excited about that partnership moving forward. We are definitely going to plan some webcasts that will focus on those underserved populations, different ways to reach them. And then we are also planning to participate in some of the Strive online chats in both the spring and the fall. Once again, just a great way to try to chat with people, on their terms, on their schedule. It can be easier to chat, as we all know. Besides, students these days don't seem like to pick up the phone and talk with us. They'd rather email or chat with us, and they know that this way they can do it on their terms, and that's the way they feel comfortable. And so we want to make sure that we can meet them with their needs, and it's a great way for us to just reach additional students. So that was a very quick kind of summary of some of the things that CNU has been doing, but I'd be happy to answer, any questions about the particulars.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lynn. And congratulations on a successful admitted student event yesterday. That sounds like a pretty amazing show rate.
Yes.
So yeah, there already are a couple of questions in the question that have been submitted. So I'm going to go ahead and as we're answering those, if you have others, please feel free to put them in. And we'll be happy to answer those as well. But this one I think is probably for Matt. Matt, there's a question about, you mentioned during your section about the 3 ways Strive can help and dedicated webcast for striver populations. There looks like Mike is looking for some recommendations or thoughts on what types of topics might be important or useful to address those audiences. So I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah, great question. And I realized I forgot to kind of spell out different use cases for the dedicated webcast, but Lynn did a great job of painting that picture. So to piggyback on, a few different ways that Strive partners can kind of take a test drive of the Conduit platform with us and schedule a private webcast for their institution. Naturally, we think about, utilizing this technology for recruitment, and this being a great way to do online info sessions to a wide audience and target it to striver populations even better, to talk uniquely about the programs and opportunities at your institution that would be relevant to that population of students. So many colleges are going to think about maybe taking advantage of the webcast to do that, and that's all well and good. But I also want to encourage schools to consider how this how Conduit can be a tool for yield events, to invite your matriculating students over the summer to meet with you online, to ask and answer questions, to share important information that you want to communicate, especially to your incoming low-income and first-gen students. Maybe you want to do a parent event for first-gen parents who are sending their kids away to school. And it's a very new and uncomfortable, experience for those parents who didn't go to college themselves. So those are just a few different ideas or ways that you might think about utilizing a webcast with Strive, leveraging the Conduit technology platform.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Matt. This one's probably for Lynn. Mary has a question about setup process for your webcasts. You mentioned, and I'll go back up for the slides on the screen, doing strategy calls and the use of QTokens. Can you talk a little bit about the timing of when you come up with the idea to when you have your events scheduled and run, and what that process kind of looks like for you?
Sure. Like I said, we try to plan for the entire semester. So we look at our communication plan, kind of what's going on, when and where. We figure out what webcasts we're interested in doing for that semester, and then we try to plug them into the communication plan where we think they're going to make the most sense, and when we know that we'll have staff available. In the fall, it can be a little tricky sometimes when we have a lot of staff members on the road, and then in the spring, we just want to make sure that we are planning in accordance with our events, so we're making sure we're not overlapping on our advertising for things. And so basically at this point, the webcast setup is fairly simple as well. We have a rep that works with us and sends us the information, the links on how to get everything set up. We typically don't do anything too fancy. We usually use a MacBook and just use the camera on that. And that has seemed to work very well for us. I think it's less intimidating too for our presenters, as opposed to when we have like the camera set up with all the lights and everything. And then they're just sitting in front of a MacBook. They definitely seem a little more comfortable that way. And so typically most of our webcasts are about, I'd probably say 20 to 25 minutes. And then we go ahead, and once that gets, everything gets all wrapped up, we go ahead and move on to the next one. So the timeline for that, like I said, is really just planning for the entire semester, spreading them out throughout the semester. And then once we get them all planned, we found it's helpful for us to be able to see all of them, as opposed to, just sort of playing it by ear and scheduling throughout the semester. When we have an idea, we really try to think about it and look at the communication plan and figure out what's going to best meet our needs.
That's great. And just to add to that point a little bit, a lot of times what we see is having the webcam on the MacBook is definitely the way to go for most presentations, because it makes you more approachable to the student audience as well, right? You don't want that students are expecting, they're not expecting polished and clean and perfect everything. They almost value the authenticity of that type of outcome better, right? So I would say that that's a great way to think about it. And I think your team is spot on with strategically thinking about integrating plans into the overall, integrating the online plan throughout the entire cycle, right? Instead of going one by one, because if you're going one by one, you're not going to actually move the needle from outcomes on your events. So something to think about for sure. And that's a great way that your team manages that. So it looks like those are the last. Yeah, right. Looks like that's that's what we have for questions today. We really appreciate Matt and Lynn taking the time to share some of your insights and share some of your knowledge. We look forward to continuing to partner with Strive and continuing to partner with Christopher Newport. And if we can be of any other support, we've got our email addresses are right there on the slide there, so you can reach out to us, and we'll be happy to tell you more about how to leverage Conduit, how to partner with Strive, and I guess how to attend Christopher Newport if you ever want to go there. So thanks so much, Lynn. Thank you so much, Matt. Any parting words, Matt, from the Strive crew?
No, just thanks for the opportunity to share this information. I know it's a partnership that we're proud of and excited about. We've been promoting fairly aggressively since the fall, but it's it's helpful to be able to show more than tell. And by offering this webinar through the Conduit platform, those who are accessing the presentation live or in the recording can get a taste for what the experience is and the opportunities that are available to you through Strive, and then also through the full suite of technology that Platform Q offers should you decide to become a member of their program. So thank you again, and please be in touch with any questions and follow up.
Awesome. Great. Lynn, thank you again for your input and your thoughts, and congratulations again to your team on what's looking like a successful cycle with the platform, and good luck with your work with Strive.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks everyone. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.